Welcome back to Bullion and Beyond, where history, treasure, and the fascinating world of rare coins come together in every episode. Today we are taking an unforgettable journey through 5 remarkable coins from the United Kingdom. At first glance, they may appear to be ordinary pocket change or forgotten keepsakes tucked away in an old drawer, a family collection, or a dusty coin album. Yet each of these coins carries a story that reaches far beyond its face value. Every scratch, every design, every date, and every tiny detail tells a chapter of Britain's rich history while offering collectors exciting opportunities to discover hidden value. Whether you are an experienced numismatist or someone who has only recently become interested in coin collecting, today's documentary is designed to help you see these coins in a completely different way. Many people spend coins every day without giving them a second thought. Coins pass from one hand to another, disappear into jars, piggy banks, wallets, and forgotten boxes, often remaining untouched for decades. What most people never realize is that a single coin among thousands can sometimes become highly desirable to collectors because of its rarity, condition, historical importance, minting variety, or an unusual production error. The world of numismatics has countless examples of ordinary-looking coins that later became prized collectibles. This possibility is one of the reasons why millions of collectors across the globe continue searching through old collections and inherited coin boxes, hoping to uncover the next remarkable discovery. In today's documentary, we will explore 5 fascinating British coins that span different eras of the United Kingdom's monetary history. Together they represent periods of national change, economic transformation, and evolving coin design. Our journey begins with the famous 1971 new penny, a coin introduced during one of the most significant changes in British currency history. We will also examine the 1996 one penny, a modern circulation coin that continues to attract collector interest for certain varieties and exceptional preserved examples. We will return once again to another 1971 new penny, exploring why identical dates can sometimes produce dramatically different collector values depending on minting characteristics and condition. Next, we will travel back to the classic 1955 one shilling featuring the famous English shield and the 3 lions, a design admired by collectors around the world for its connection to British heritage and royal tradition. Finally, we will conclude with the historic 1913 one penny, a coin that survived more than a century of history and continues to fascinate collectors because of its age, craftsmanship, and enduring popularity. One of the greatest misconceptions in coin collecting is the belief that age alone determines value. While older coins often attract attention, the true story is much more complex. Rarity, demand, historical significance, preservation, minting quality, production errors, and market interest all play important roles in determining a coin's desirability. Some relatively modern coins have sold for impressive prices because only a small number survived in exceptional condition. Meanwhile, some much older coins remain affordable because they were produced in enormous quantities. Understanding these differences is one of the most rewarding aspects of becoming a knowledgeable collector, and throughout this documentary we will explore exactly what makes certain coins stand out from millions of others. Every coin featured today also reflects an important chapter in British history. Coins are more than simple tools for commerce. They are miniature historical documents that record changing monarchs, national symbols, artistic styles, technological advancements, and economic developments. When you hold a coin in your hand, you are holding something that may have passed through markets, shops, rail stations, businesses, and homes decades or even more than a century ago. It may have witnessed wars, celebrations, royal events, economic transitions, and everyday moments experienced by ordinary people. That historical connection is one of the reasons why collectors become so passionate about numismatics. Another fascinating aspect of today's journey is the role of condition. Two coins with the same date and design can have dramatically different values simply because one has been carefully preserved while the other spent decades in circulation. Collectors use professional grading standards to evaluate every detail, including luster, surface preservation, strike quality, and wear. Even the smallest differences can significantly influence collector demand. Throughout this documentary, we will explain how experts evaluate these coins and why condition often separates an ordinary collectible from an exceptional one. We will also examine minting varieties and production errors that continue to excite collectors worldwide. Sometimes a tiny difference in lettering, alignment, metal composition, or die preparation can transform an otherwise common coin into an extraordinary rarity. These hidden details often remain unnoticed for years until sharp-eyed collectors identify them. That is why many experienced numismatists recommend carefully examining every old coin before spending, selling, or dismissing it. The next remarkable discovery could already be sitting inside a coin jar, family collection, or inherited box waiting to be recognized. The marketplace for collectible coins continues to evolve as new collectors enter the hobby every year. Auction houses regularly showcase remarkable examples that capture international attention, while online marketplaces have made rare coins more accessible than ever before. Demand often shifts as collectors pursue different historical periods, design types, and certified high-grade specimens. Understanding these trends helps explain why some coins steadily increase in popularity while others remain overlooked despite their fascinating historical backgrounds. Throughout this documentary, we will separate historical facts from collector speculation whenever possible. While certain coins have achieved impressive prices at auctions, actual market value always depends on authenticity, condition, rarity, certification, and current collector demand. Claims of extremely high value should always be verified with reliable auction records and professional evaluations. Our goal is to help you appreciate both the historical significance and the real-world collecting potential of every coin featured today. Whether you inherited a collection from a grandparent, discovered old British coins while traveling, purchased a mixed lot at an estate sale, or simply enjoy learning about history through numismatics, this documentary has something for you. By the end of today's journey, you will understand why these 5 British coins continue attracting attention from collectors across the world. You will learn about their historical backgrounds, artistic designs, minting stories, rarity, grading considerations, collector demand, fascinating varieties, and the reasons they continue inspiring excitement among both beginners and experienced numismatists alike. Stay with us until the very end because every coin in today's collection has its own remarkable story. Some reveal the evolution of British currency. Others highlight changing artistic traditions and royal symbolism. Some demonstrate how ordinary circulation coins can become sought-after collectibles under the right circumstances. Together they illustrate why coin collecting remains one of the world's most rewarding hobbies, combining history, art, economics, craftsmanship, and the thrill of discovery into a single lifelong passion. Here on Bullion and Beyond, our mission is to bring you closer to the incredible stories hidden inside the world's most fascinating coins. Every episode reminds us that history is not confined to museums or textbooks. Sometimes it fits comfortably in the palm of your hand, waiting patiently for someone curious enough to uncover its secrets. So settle in, prepare to travel through decades of British monetary history, and discover why these 5 remarkable coins continue capturing the imagination of collectors around the world. By the end of today's documentary, you may find yourself looking at every old coin with a renewed sense of curiosity because you never know when an overlooked piece of everyday change could become your next extraordinary discovery. Now let's begin with our first coin. Our first coin takes us to one of the most important moments in modern British monetary history, the 1971 new penny of the United Kingdom. While millions of people remember this small bronze coin as everyday pocket change, collectors recognize it as a symbol of a historic transformation that changed the British currency system forever. Introduced during Decimal Day on February 15, 1971, the new penny marked the beginning of a new era. For centuries Britain had used the traditional system of pounds, shillings, and pence, where 1 pound equaled 20 shillings and each shilling contained 12 pence. The new decimal system simplified everything by dividing 1 pound into 100 pence. Because of this historic change, the first new penny became much more than just a circulating coin. It became a lasting reminder of one of the greatest monetary reforms in British history. The 1971 new penny was produced by the and was struck in bronze using an alloy of 97% copper with small amounts of tin and zinc. The coin weighs approximately 3.5 grams and measures just over 20 millimeters in diameter. Although it is small enough to fit comfortably in the palm of your hand, it carries remarkable historical significance that continues to attract collectors from around the world. The obverse of the coin features the elegant portrait created by renowned sculptor. Around the portrait appears the traditional Latin inscription identifying the Queen. This portrait became one of the most recognizable images in British coinage and remained in use for many years. The design reflects dignity, stability, and continuity during a period of major economic and monetary change. Turning to the reverse, collectors find one of the most recognizable designs in British decimal coinage. The crowned portcullis with hanging chains represents the Palace of Westminster and has long been associated with the British Parliament. Below the design appears the denomination new penny, while the date 1971 is displayed beneath it. The wording new penny was used only during the early years of decimalization to help the public distinguish the new decimal coins from the old pre-decimal currency. In later years, the inscription was shortened to simply 1 penny, making the early new penny issues especially interesting to collectors. The historical background of this coin is every bit as fascinating as its design. During the late 1960s, the British government prepared the nation for decimalization after years of planning. Businesses, banks, schools, and consumers all needed to adapt to an entirely new counting system. Millions of new coins were struck in advance so that the transition would proceed smoothly. The 1971 new penny therefore represents not only a new coin but also a national milestone in economic modernization. Although enormous numbers of 1971 new pennies were produced, collectors continue searching for examples with exceptional eye appeal. Coins that retain their original mint luster, sharp strike, and untouched surfaces are considerably more desirable than heavily circulated pieces. Professional grading services evaluate these characteristics carefully because condition has a major influence on collector value. Another reason this coin remains popular is the possibility of discovering unusual varieties or minting errors. While most 1971 new pennies are common, collectors always examine them for die cracks, off-center strikes, double strikes, clipped planchets, and other production anomalies. Authentic mint errors are much scarcer than normal issues and can command substantial premiums depending on the rarity of the error and the condition of the coin. Many online videos and social media posts claim that every 1971 new penny is worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. In reality, that is not the case. Most circulated examples are worth only a modest amount, while uncirculated coins, certified high-grade specimens, rare varieties, or significant mint errors may bring much stronger prices. Every coin should therefore be evaluated individually rather than assuming that the date alone determines its value. Collector demand for the 1971 new penny remains strong because it represents the very beginning of Britain's decimal coinage. It is frequently included in typesets, decimal collections, and historical collections focused on the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. New collectors often purchase this coin as one of their first British pieces because it combines affordability with genuine historical importance. Experts generally agree that the greatest value of the 1971 new penny lies in its historical significance rather than its face value. It reminds collectors of a remarkable period when an entire nation successfully changed its monetary system. Every surviving coin is a small piece of that story, carrying memories of a generation that witnessed one of the biggest changes in British financial history. If you own a 1971 new penny, take a closer look before placing it back into storage. Examine the surfaces carefully under good lighting, check for unusual features, preserve it properly, and compare it with reliable reference materials. You may simply own a historic keepsake, or you could discover a better-than-average example that appeals to collectors. Either way, the 1971 new penny remains one of the most fascinating modern British coins and an essential part of numismatic history. That was our first coin. Now let's continue to the second coin. Our second coin brings us to the 1996 one penny of the United Kingdom, a coin that many people remember as ordinary everyday change but one that continues to attract the attention of collectors across the world. Unlike ancient silver or gold coins that immediately appear valuable because of their age or precious metal content, the 1996 one penny demonstrates that even modern circulation coins can become fascinating collectibles. Millions of these coins passed through shops, markets, buses, and banks across Britain during the 1990s, yet every surviving example tells the story of a nation entering a new era while still honoring centuries of royal tradition. Today, collectors continue searching through old jars, family collections, and inherited coin albums hoping to find beautifully preserved examples or unusual minting varieties that stand out from the rest. The 1996 one penny was struck by the using copper-plated steel, a composition introduced to reduce production costs while maintaining the coin's familiar appearance. The coin weighs approximately 3.56 grams and measures about 20.3 millimeters in diameter with a smooth edge. Although its specifications seem simple, every detail reflects the precision and craftsmanship that have long been associated with British coin production. The Royal Mint carefully engineered these coins to withstand years of circulation while preserving their distinctive design. The obverse features the fourth definitive coin portrait designed by sculptor. The Queen is shown wearing the George IV state diadem, a symbol of continuity, constitutional monarchy, and national identity. Around the portrait is the traditional Latin inscription identifying the monarch. This portrait remained an iconic feature of British coinage throughout much of the 1990s and is instantly recognizable to collectors around the world. Turning the coin over reveals one of Britain's most familiar reverse designs. The crown portcullis with chains symbolizes the Palace of Westminster and the long history of the British Parliament. Above the design appears the denomination 1 penny, while the year 1996 is displayed below. Although the design appears straightforward, its clean lines and balanced proportions make it one of the most recognizable coin reverses in modern British numismatics. The historical context surrounding the 1996 1 penny is equally interesting. Britain in the mid-1990s experienced rapid technological growth, expanding global trade, and significant political discussions that would shape the years ahead. While electronic payments were beginning to emerge, cash remained the primary method of everyday transactions. Coins like the 1996 1 penny circulated extensively, passing through millions of hands every single day. Each coin became part of countless ordinary purchases, making it a small but meaningful witness to everyday British life during the decade. Because these coins circulated so widely, finding one in exceptional condition has become increasingly difficult. Most examples show scratches, worn surfaces, and faded details after years of use. Collectors therefore pay special attention to coins that retain their original mint luster, sharp strike, and minimal signs of handling. Professional grading services carefully evaluate these characteristics because even slight improvements in preservation can significantly increase collector demand. Another exciting area of interest involves minting varieties and production errors. Although the majority of 1996 one-penny coins were struck correctly, experienced collectors carefully examine every example for doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, broad strikes, and other genuine mint errors. These unusual pieces are far scarcer than ordinary circulation coins and often become highlights of specialized collections. Discovering an authentic error coin remains one of the greatest thrills in modern coin collecting. Many internet posts and videos suggest that every 1996 one-penny is worth $70 or more. In reality, the vast majority of circulated examples trade for only modest amounts. Higher prices are generally associated with certified high-grade coins, significant mint errors, or particularly scarce varieties. Market value depends on several important factors including authenticity, preservation, rarity, and current collector demand. For that reason, every coin should be evaluated individually rather than assuming that the date alone determines its worth. Collector interest in the 1996 one-penny remains strong because it represents an important period in Britain's modern coinage. It is frequently included in complete decimal collections, Queen Elizabeth II collections, and typesets illustrating the evolution of British currency. Many beginning collectors start with coins like this because they are historically meaningful, affordable, and readily available for study. Experts often describe the 1996 one-penny as an excellent reminder that modern coins deserve attention alongside older issues. Although it may never rival the rarest British coins in overall value, its historical significance, attractive design, and connection to everyday life make it a rewarding addition to any collection. Every well-preserved example tells the story of Britain's economy, craftsmanship, and national identity during the closing years of the 20th century. If you have a 1996 one-penny tucked away in an old collection, take a closer look before overlooking it. Inspect the surfaces under good lighting, check for unusual minting characteristics, and store the coin carefully to preserve its condition. While most examples remain common, exceptional specimens and authentic mint errors continue to attract collector interest. Sometimes the most ordinary-looking coin can become the beginning of an extraordinary collecting journey, proving once again that history often hides in the smallest everyday objects. That was our second coin. Let's move on to the third coin. Our third coin brings us back to one of the most historic years in modern British coinage, the 1971 new penny of the United Kingdom. At first glance, some viewers may wonder why another coin from the same year deserves its own place in today's documentary. The answer is simple. In the world of numismatics, two coins with the same date can tell completely different stories. Differences in preservation, strike quality, die varieties, minting characteristics, and collector demand can make one example much more desirable than another. That is why experienced collectors never judge a coin by its date alone. Instead, they carefully examine every detail, knowing that hidden features can sometimes transform an ordinary coin into a remarkable collectible. The 1971 new penny was introduced during Britain's historic decimalisation, one of the most significant monetary reforms in the country's history. Before 1971, the United Kingdom used the traditional system of pounds, shillings, and pence, which had been in place for centuries. To simplify trade, accounting, banking, and everyday transactions, the nation adopted the decimal system, where 1 pound became equal to 100 pence. The new penny became one of the first coins of this new era, making it a lasting symbol of Britain's financial modernization. This coin was struck by the in bronze, consisting of approximately 97% copper with small amounts of tin and zinc. It weighs around 3.56 grams and has a diameter of approximately 20.3 millimeters. Although these specifications may appear ordinary, they reflect the careful engineering and craftsmanship that have made British coinage respected throughout the world for generations. The obverse displays the youthful portrait of, designed by renowned sculptor. The Queen is shown wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, while the surrounding Latin inscription identifies her royal title. The portrait is admired for its elegance and simplicity, becoming one of the defining images of British coins during the early decimal period. The reverse features the famous crown portcullis with hanging chains, representing the Palace of Westminster and the British Parliament. Above the design appears the inscription New Penny, a wording used only during the early decimal years to distinguish the new decimal currency from the old pre-decimal system. This unique inscription gives the early decimal issues an identity that later one-penny coins no longer share, adding another layer of historical importance for collectors. Although millions of 1971 new pennies were produced, collectors remain fascinated by exceptional examples. Coins preserved in brilliant uncirculated condition with original mint luster are far more desirable than heavily worn circulation pieces. Professional grading services carefully examine strike quality, surface preservation, contact marks, and overall eye appeal before assigning a numerical grade. Even a small improvement in grade can make a significant difference in collector demand and market value. Collectors also search carefully for minting errors and die varieties. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, doubled dies, and other genuine production mistakes are considerably scarcer than normal coins. Because these errors occurred during the manufacturing process, they are viewed as authentic pieces of mint history. Finding one is an exciting moment for any collector and often becomes the centerpiece of a collection. Some online sources claim that a 1971 new penny is worth $100 simply because of its date. In reality, most circulated examples are common and typically have modest values. Higher prices are generally associated with coins in exceptional certified condition, scarce varieties, or genuine mint errors. Auction prices also depend on current collector demand, rarity, and professional authentication. For these reasons, every coin should be evaluated individually rather than assuming that every 1971 new penny carries the same value. Beyond its collector appeal, this coin represents an important moment in British history. It reminds us of a time when an entire nation successfully adapted to a new currency system. Millions of people learned new prices, businesses updated their accounting methods, and the Royal Mint produced enormous quantities of decimal coins to ensure a smooth transition. Every surviving 1971 new penny serves as a small but meaningful reminder of that remarkable achievement. Experts often recommend that collectors preserve these coins carefully. Avoid cleaning them, as cleaning can permanently damage the original surfaces and reduce collector interest. Instead, store the coin in a protective holder, handle it only by the edges, and examine it under proper lighting when looking for varieties or errors. Patience and careful observation are among the most valuable skills in numismatics. The 1971 new penny continues to inspire both new and experienced collectors because it combines history, attractive design, affordability, and the possibility of discovering something special. Whether it remains a cherished historical keepsake or turns out to be an unusually well-preserved specimen, it reminds us that even the smallest everyday coin can carry an extraordinary story through time. Now let's continue to the fourth coin. Our fourth coin takes us back to the mid-20th century with the remarkable 1955 1 shilling of the United Kingdom, featuring the famous English shield with the three lions. Unlike the decimal coins we explored earlier, this coin belongs to Britain's historic pre-decimal currency system, when 20 shillings made £1 and 12 pence made 1 shilling. For generations, the 1 shilling was one of the most familiar coins in everyday British life. It was used in shops, markets, railway stations, restaurants, and businesses across the country. Today, however, the 1955 1 shilling is appreciated not only as a former circulating coin but also as an important piece of British history that represents tradition, craftsmanship, and royal heritage. The 1955 1 shilling was struck by the using cupro nickel, an alloy chosen for its durability and attractive silver-colored appearance. The coin weighs approximately 5.65 grams and measures about 23.5 millimeters in diameter with a milled edge. Although it contains no silver, its bright finish and detailed engraving give it an elegant appearance that continues to impress collectors decades after it left circulation. The obverse features the portrait of during the early years of her reign. The portrait was designed by the distinguished sculptor and shows the young queen without a crown, symbolizing confidence, dignity, and the beginning of a new royal era. Surrounding the portrait is the traditional Latin inscription identifying Queen Elizabeth II as Defender of the Faith. This graceful design remains one of the most admired portraits ever used on British coinage. The reverse is the true highlight of this coin. It displays the Royal Shield of England featuring the famous 3 lions passant guardant, one of the oldest and most recognizable symbols of English royalty. The design represents courage, strength, and the enduring heritage of the English monarchy. Above the shield appears the royal crown, emphasizing the connection between the monarchy and the nation. The denomination 1 shilling and the date 1955 complete the design, creating a coin that is both historically meaningful and artistically beautiful. The year 1955 fell during an important period in British history. The nation was continuing its recovery following the challenges of the Second World War. Industries were expanding, communities were rebuilding, and Britain was adapting to a rapidly changing modern world while maintaining its centuries-old traditions. Every 1955 1 shilling circulated during this remarkable period, making it a small but authentic witness to everyday life in post-war Britain. Because the 1 shilling was used extensively in daily commerce, most surviving examples display noticeable signs of circulation. Coins with heavy wear are common, while examples showing sharp detail, original mint luster, and minimal contact marks are much more desirable among collectors. Professional grading services carefully examine every feature of the coin, including the portrait, shield, lettering, and surfaces, because preservation plays a major role in determining collector value. Many collectors also examine the 1955 1 shilling for interesting die varieties and genuine mint errors. While most examples were struck correctly, occasional off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, and other production anomalies have been discovered. Authentic mint errors are considerably scarcer than ordinary circulation coins and often command higher premiums because of their rarity and uniqueness. Some internet sources claim that every 1955 1 shilling is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. In reality, there is no evidence that ordinary 1955 circulation shillings sell for such amounts. Their market value depends on factors such as authenticity, condition, rarity, and whether they possess an exceptional mint error or another unusual characteristic. The most valuable examples are generally certified high-grade specimens or coins with significant and well-documented minting anomalies. Collector demand for the 1955 1 shilling remains consistently strong because it represents the early reign of Queen Elizabeth II and the final decades of Britain's traditional pre-decimal currency. Many collectors build complete shilling collections, while others seek coins featuring the different national emblems used throughout the series. The English shield with the 3 lions is especially admired because of its deep historical symbolism and instantly recognizable design. Experts consider the 1955 1 shilling an excellent example of classic British coinage. Its attractive artwork, historical importance, and connection to the monarchy make it a favorite among collectors of all experience levels. Whether acquired as part of a complete British type set or inherited through a family collection, this coin offers an opportunity to hold a genuine piece of Britain's monetary and cultural history. If you happen to own a 1955 1 shilling, examine it carefully before deciding its significance. Look for crisp details on the portrait, strong definition in the three lions, original surface luster, and any unusual minting characteristics. Store it properly to preserve its condition, and if you believe it may be an exceptional example, consider having it authenticated and professionally graded. Every surviving coin carries its own story, and the 1955 1 shilling continues to remind collectors that history, artistry, and craftsmanship can all be found in a single small piece of metal. Let's discover our fifth coin. Our fifth and final coin takes us more than a century into the past with the remarkable 1913 1 penny of the United Kingdom. This historic bronze coin represents an era when the British Empire stretched across much of the world and British coins circulated throughout numerous territories. More than 100 years later, the 1913 1 penny continues to capture the imagination of collectors because it is far more than an old coin. It is a surviving witness to history, carrying the marks of the people who used it and the events that shaped the early 20th century. Every example tells a story of commerce, industry, tradition, and everyday life during a period that would soon be transformed by world-changing events. The 1913 1 penny was struck by the in bronze, using an alloy primarily composed of copper with small amounts of tin and zinc. The coin weighs approximately 9.45 grams and has a diameter of about 30.8 millimeters, making it significantly larger and heavier than the modern British penny. Its substantial size, rich bronze color, and detailed engraving make it one of the most recognizable coins in British numismatic history. The obverse features the portrait of, designed by the distinguished Australian sculptor. The king faces left, surrounded by a Latin inscription identifying him as king and emperor. The portrait reflects the dignity and authority of the British monarchy during the height of the British Empire and remains one of the defining royal portraits of the 20th century. Turning the coin over reveals one of the most famous designs ever used on British coinage. The reverse depicts Britannia seated beside the sea, holding a trident as a symbol of Britain's naval strength and a shield bearing the Union flag to represent national unity and protection. The denomination 1 penny appears above Britannia, while the date 1913 is positioned below. This iconic design had already appeared on British pennies for many decades and became an enduring symbol of the nation's maritime heritage and global influence. The historical significance of the 1913 1 penny extends far beyond its design. The year 1913 marked the final full year before the outbreak of the Britain was a leading industrial and naval power, international trade was thriving, and few people could have imagined how dramatically the world would soon change. Coins minted during 1913 therefore represent the closing chapter of a relatively peaceful era before one of history's most significant conflicts reshaped Europe and the wider world. Because these pennies circulated extensively for decades, most surviving examples display heavy wear, scratches, and softened design details. Finding a 1913 1 penny with strong original features, attractive surfaces, and minimal circulation marks is considerably more difficult than locating an average worn specimen. Professional grading services carefully evaluate every detail, from the king's portrait to Britannia's features and the coin's remaining mint luster, because condition has a major influence on collector demand. Collectors also study the 1913 1 penny for die varieties and authentic mint errors. While ordinary examples are relatively available, genuine double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and other production anomalies are much scarcer. These unusual coins provide fascinating insight into the minting process and often attract specialists who enjoy researching rare varieties within the British penny series. Many online sources suggest that every 1913 one penny is worth $1,800 or more. In reality, most circulated examples sell for much less. Higher prices are generally achieved only by exceptional specimens in outstanding condition, rare varieties, or coins with significant documented mint errors. Actual market value depends on authenticity, rarity, collector demand, professional grading, and current auction activity rather than the date alone. This is why experienced collectors carefully evaluate each coin individually before estimating its value. The 1913 one penny enjoys lasting popularity because it combines history, artistry, and accessibility. It is frequently included in collections of British bronze coinage, King George V issues, and type collections illustrating the evolution of British currency. Many collectors consider it one of the most attractive pennies ever produced because of its large size and the timeless Britannia reverse that has become a symbol of British coinage itself. Experts often recommend preserving older bronze coins exactly as they are found. Cleaning can permanently damage the natural surfaces and reduce collector appeal. Instead, handle the coin only by its edges, store it in an archival quality holder, and consult a reputable numismatic expert if you believe you have an unusually well-preserved specimen or a genuine mint error. Careful preservation helps protect both the historical integrity and the long-term collector interest of the coin. The 1913 one penny reminds us that every coin is a messenger from the past. It has survived changing monarchs, economic transformations, technological revolutions, and more than a century of history. Whether discovered in an inherited collection, purchased from a coin dealer, or found among old family keepsakes, it offers a tangible connection to another era. Holding this coin means holding a small piece of history that has quietly traveled through generations, preserving the story of Britain and its people in a form that can still be appreciated today. This concludes our journey through today's 5 remarkable British coins. In the next section, we'll bring everything together with our final conclusion, comparing these coins, highlighting their historical importance, and sharing what every collector can learn from their stories. So before you go, let me know in the comments which of today's coins was your favorite and whether you have any rare British coins in your own collection. Your stories and discoveries make this community even more exciting. If you enjoyed this journey through the fascinating world of rare and historic coins, please give this video a like, share it with your friends and fellow collectors, and subscribe to Bullion and Beyond for more in-depth documentaries on valuable coins, rare mint errors, hidden treasures, auction highlights, and the incredible history behind coins from around the world. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next rare coin adventure. Thank you for watching Bullion and Beyond, and until next time, keep collecting, keep learning, and always remember that the next extraordinary coin could be waiting in your pocket, your coin jar, or an old family collection.